Hey there, welcome to my channel. My name is Shawn, and in today's video I'm going to show you my process for making a double applique embroidery design. So I'm going to go over all the supplies I have here. We'll get it hooped up on the machine, stitched out, and show you the finished result. So first, let's go ahead and go over the supplies. So I will be using a Gildan sweatshirt. I will be using my 11 by 13 mighty hoop. And I also have a piece of cutaway stabilizer for my mighty hoop. I will be using the white rainbow HTV glitter from Econotransfer. And then I do have a piece of scrap fabric that I have. So I'm going to be using this as well as the glitter. So that'll be the part of the double applique. And I already have my heat and bond on the back. I just need to peel my backing off before I put it on the machine. And then I do have my applique scissors here. So I have a pair of duckbill scissors as well as just some applique scissors. So these will be needed for this project. So we'll go ahead, go over to the hooping station, get everything hooped up and onto the machine. So let's go ahead and get this hooped up. First thing we're going to do is separate our hoop. Just set that other part up there and then just get my hoop on here and then get my stabilizer on here. And I hope I cut enough. Yep, that is good. All right, and then we'll get our sweater on here and then our top hoop. And then we can go ahead over to the machine. All right. Then just making sure everything is good and even and where I need everything to be. Just gonna smooth everything out here and make sure my hoop is the right way. And there we go. All right. So now then we're all hooped up. We'll go ahead and go over to the machine. All right, so we'll go ahead and get our shirt on here. And that is good. And then of course, I'm gonna do a trace. And I can already see that I am going to have to move it up some. Okay, so I'll go ahead. Let's trace that. And if this is good, then we'll go ahead. And the first stitch is going to be the placement stitch for the outline of the design. Okay, so that actually looks pretty good right there. All right, so the first thing we're going to do now is go ahead and let it stitch out, and then we'll do that placement stitch. So I'll go ahead and get that placement stitch started, and then we'll go on, excuse me, we'll go on to the next step. All right, so our placement stitch is ready, and the machine, I made sure to put stops in between every time that I needed to put the fabric down, cut the fabric down, put the glitter down, all that good stuff. So our placement stitch is right here, and so I'm not gonna need to move it all the way up. About right there is good. All right, so then now it's gonna go ahead and do the tack down stitch for the outline. All right, so the tack down stitch has finished. So now I'm gonna go ahead and cut off my extra fabric. And I'm probably going to use my duckbill scissors for this one, for the majority of it, because a lot of it is just a straight stitch. But first, I'm gonna just cut this piece down. Get that out the way, and now I'm gonna use my duckbill scissors to get this cut out. And I will definitely speed past this because it will take a moment. Okay, so I have all of the extra fabric cut out. That's how we're looking now. So I cut it as close as I possibly could. So now I'm gonna go ahead and hoop it back onto the machine so we can do the final stitch, the satin stitch, and then it'll go on to the next stitch where we're going to put our glitter on. So let's go ahead and go back over to the machine. All right, let's get her hoop back up and we will pick up where we left off. And I'll go ahead and start and let it do its thing. And so I will be back when we're ready for the next part, which is putting the HTV glitter on top of the fabric. Okay, so we have our outline finished, and now it's going to do the placement stitch for the glitter HTV that we're going to be using here. So I'm going to go ahead and let that start to stitch out. And then once that has finished, then I will be back to show you the final step. All right, so our letters, we are here. We have our placement stitch. So now I'm going to go ahead and peel that carrier sheet off of my glitter. And then I'm just going to lay it right over that design, making sure my placement is good. All right, then I'm gonna go ahead and kind of just hold it for a little bit and then let it stitch out and then let it do its thing. Usually once that first letter has stitched down, then I'll go ahead and stop holding the glitter. You can also use some like a painter's tape or heat tape. I just hold it and let it do that initial stitch. And so I will be back. Once this is all stitched out, we'll get it cleaned up so I can show you the finished result. Okay, our design is all stitched out and it's stitched out beautifully, if I do say so myself. So that is how we are looking. So I'm gonna go ahead and let's get this cleaned up. And also I need to turn on my press. So let me turn on my press to warm that up, because whenever you do use HTV glitter on an applique design, you do want to still press it after you're finished. So then we'll just go ahead and get this HTV torn away. And then I'll just come back in and clean up whatever doesn't rip up. And just a few pieces here. And I did leave just a little bit of fabric, which I will show you up close around outside of the outline satin stitch, just so I can distress it a little bit. So I'll show you how that looks in just a second. And the way I distress these designs like this is I use a piece of sanding paper. And then I'll just take it and kind of lightly rub the sanding paper all the way around until it has the distress effect that I want. And then also once you wash it, it's going to distress even more. All right, and okay, one piece here and my cue. All right, easy peasy. So let me go ahead and get my mighty hoop off. And let me just set that to the side for now. And then I'll turn her inside out, get that cleaned up. And I'm gonna use my lighter, as I always do, to get the threads, threads here, get those cleaned up. And you can also use your scissors or some snips to do this as well. I just always use my lighter just because it is quicker. Well, it seems quicker to me. All right. And I do like to use my picking shears just because of the look that it gets. I do have a couple pairs of picking shears. One I use for my stabilizer, other one I use for my fabric. So I'm gonna go ahead and we'll get this cut down. And my press is almost warmed up. And just making sure I don't cut my shirt. So I always kind of keep my hand underneath my scissors as a guide. And then one last piece. All right, so that is all cleaned up on the inside. Ooh, that turned out cute. And then I'll use my lint roller because I am gonna go ahead and press. So I wanna get any extra glitter or anything like that off of my shirt before I press it. And then I'll distress it after the fact. And now if you don't want to have a distressed look, then you definitely want to make sure that you trim your fabric as close as possible to the thread without, of course, cutting your thread. That's why it's really good to have duckbill scissors or your applique scissors that have that curve so you can really get in there and get close. All right, and my press is now beeping. Let me go press this together press our glitter HTV as well as the fabric, because that fabric does have heat and bond on there so it can also adhere to the shirt. And then I will be right back. All right, we're all pressed up. Everything is looking good. And this is how the sweatshirt turned out. Now, I did just press it, so you might not be able to see how I did leave some fabric out around the edges. So I'm gonna go ahead and grab my sandpaper. After I finish the video, go ahead and kind of sand it up, or, you know, rough up the edges a little bit. So then I'll have that distressed look. So that's how we're looking right there. Now, when you're doing double appliques, you can do 2 different kinds of fabric. You can do 2 different colors of glitter HTV or anything like that. Make it fun, make it unique, make it, you know, whatever you want to, but you don't have to use fabric and glitter HTV. You can kind of switch up the combinations to whatever you want it to be. So I do like how this turned out. I love the color combinations, especially with that fabric and the white rainbow glitter HTV. I think that was a really good combination, as well as the hot pink sand stitch that matches the hot pink sweatshirt. So yes, but if you do have any questions at all about my process or any of the supplies that I use, let me know below in the comments. Let me know if you have tried double applique or if you plan to try double applique soon down below in the comments. And I'll have everything linked in the description box for you. So until next time, thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button down below, and I will see you in the next video. Bye, guys.